Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you enjoyed last week's video. So I've been trying to play D&D with my friends for months now, but we can never get the schedules to line up. It's not my fault, it's their fault. And my friend just invited me out to the Renaissance Fair recently, so I kind of got this idea since I've been working on my character design and trying to get better at it to try making a randomized D&D character and seeing if I can make a compelling character out of it. So yeah, I'm gonna spin the wheel a few times. I have a few lists of categories that I'm gonna randomize and then go from there, try to make it one cohesive character, and hopefully I make something cool. I'm trying to get better at character design anyways, and I need to fill that D&D void that has been missing me so much. So yeah, let's just get to it. Alright, so we have the first wheel here. It's gonna be, what character, what class I'm gonna use, because I think that's the most important thing when people go in, is what class are you gonna be. So yeah, let's see what we get. Okay, so we got a cleric. That's kind of new to me. I've only played fighter characters, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do with that. But I know they're kind of like they worship a goddess or god. But okay, that should be interesting. All right, now we're gonna see which race we get, which is also, I've only played human characters so far, so this will be fun to play. So that's gonna be very interesting, being a cleric, but also a dark elf, because I think they're evil, right? Dark elves are evil. And this is the one I'm kind of excited for. I'm gonna do what era it's gonna be in, because everyone sees it in the medieval era. I want to see maybe a different type of story, maybe one that's in cyberpunk, maybe one that's more gothic. Let's see what era we get. Okay, Renaissance. I believe that's like, the Renaissance Fair. Yeah, so isn't it like right after the medieval? So still kind of that general vibe. Okay, so not too far off. I think we can work with this pretty easily. Okay, and this is the one that I wanted to really kind of play with, was what continent we're gonna be in, because I'm gonna base it off of real world continents. It'll just give me something to really challenge myself, which is, the point of this is to see if I can make something out of all the characters I get. So yeah, let's see what we get. I don't really know what I'm hoping for, but I'll figure it out, I'm sure. So we're making a kangaroo is what I'm getting here. But yeah, okay, Australia, that's gonna be cool. So I'm gonna have to think about this for a bit, but yeah, I guess we'll see from here. So like always, I start by going on Pinterest and looking up as many references as I can. Right now, I'm just studying dark elves and trying to understand kind of what makes them who they are, their characteristics, stuff like that. I also spent time looking up Australian mythology because I wanted to use some of their, myths or urban legends as a backstory. This will really help me in my character creation on what I decide to make them look like later on. And I personally feel like a character's pose really tells a lot about who they are. So I do try to spend a good amount of time trying to find something that's very similar to what I'm looking for in terms of a pose. That way you can kind of tell just by a silhouette or just by looking at them at first glance, like what kind of character they really are. So I spent about 30 minutes deciding on this, and now I'm ready to start designing the character. You're actually going to see me struggle quite a bit during this rough process because I really want to make sure I get a good foundation. It'll make everything easier later on. I also make very much good use of the liquify tool because, I need to reposition stuff, and instead of drawing it, I can just kind of move it around with the liquify tool. It makes things a lot easier. I'm not gonna lie, I was really struggling on drawing this hand, but you know, eventually we got there. And I did the rest off camera, but I finally got a design I was happy with. Now I just gotta go in and do the line art and the shading.
entertainment. Entertainment.
So now I'm adding in the flat colors to the character. So in D&D, dark elves are called drows, and they typically have a purple or bluish, sometimes grayish skin tone. So I want to make sure I add colors that really like help, clash against that. And as you can see, some of these parts that I do, I really have to zoom into to get to the corners, because I do have a fast method of like coloring these, but I can't get everything all at once. So, it's always double check, zoom in, and make sure everything is like colored to all the edge so it doesn't like seep through in the back. And you're gonna see me throughout this entire process go back and forth on what colors I want to use, because I am very indecisive and I don't actually come up with the final color palette until the very end. So if you see the background or the colors of the character change throughout, just know I'm doing it pretty much very often and off camera, so don't be like freaked out about that.
Entertainment.
And yeah, like I said, I am very indecisive, so I'm going to keep changing my colors. But for right now, I think it's pretty good to start adding the hatch lines. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there and see what happens.
Entertainment.
Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
I'm still new to this art style that I have, so if my hatching isn't perfect, forgive me, I'm still learning. But yeah, now that this is done, I'm going to start adding in the dark shades and then the lights after that. So this is my final design for the character. Her name is Maka. She is based on the Australian myth of the McCoy. There's some iterations of this, but it's basically summed up to this evil spirit that hunts down sorcerers or pretty much anyone with magic that abuses it and uses dark magic. You might actually know them from the Persona series, which is how I know them from. And I think this background really fits the character of the Drow because they are typically seen as evil creatures and have violent tendencies. And although Maka does have these tendencies as well, she actually chooses to use them for good rather than for evil. She chose to worship the death god Clevenmore. I hope I said that right, I have no idea. Their whole deal is they despise anyone who interrupts the natural cycle of death, so like, you know, someone that goes around mass murdering they would absolutely hate. She shows her devotion through traveling the lands, acting as a hunter, and just taking down anyone that uses dark magic like very abusively. This is how she shows her faith to Clevenmore, or Clevenmore, whatever. you know whatever. I think for her backstory, being a chaotic good character would really fit because I kind of see her when you're playing as a character as someone who would only solely attack anyone who's abusing magic power and anyone else is kind of just like out of her way, off the table. So in combat, I could see her kind of fighting people, but only whenever she has to, and like half the time she might just be trying to like, hey, you are not a magic user, I don't want to fight you, I don't want to do this. And the entire time everyone's trying to fight the big bad guys, but they're all bandits who use like knives and, you know, swords, and she's just like, yeah, I don't want to do this, I'm good, man. And then also with her violent tendencies, she might be very prone to just attacking first before thinking, and I think that would be really fun to like, you know, sometimes the party has to hold her back or remind her that, you know, you got to think before you attack someone, before you know, you don't know if they're actually evil or if you're just, you know, jumping the gun. So, you know, that could be fun to play as well. So for making a randomized character, I think overall I did pretty well. I had a lot of trouble trying to connect everything at first, but once I started getting the ball rolling, you know, it kind of made a somewhat cohesive character that I can probably use. I would still have to refine it if I really wanted to. Overall, I think it looked pretty good, and I think I did a pretty good job. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this week's video, please let me know down below. And if you want to see me do this again, you know, there's so many I can make. There's so many classes I can use. So yeah, just put it down below if you want to see something like this again. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see y'all in next week's video, and I'll catch y'all later. Bye.